Alright, welcome back to video 2 in our operation video tutorial. In this video I'll be showing how to use Fusion to create the three-dimensional case that we're going to print to fit our top plate here. So let's just get right into it. The first step in creating our case is obviously creating a new file. So as we see, or as we all know, we go new, part design, create new. Before you hit create new, make sure you're using a unit that you're comfortable with. I always stick with millimeters, so I'm good with that, but hit create new. Alrighty, so I've got my file open. I've got my file saved. We're ready to start designing. Let's go ahead and start with a sketch. I hit create sketch up here and select my XY plane. I get my sketch menu open. Our first step is to start with the rectangle, which we are going to cut out for our top panel. This is going to kind of be our first reference point that we're going to base the rest of our design around. So as we can see, our dimensions are 140 millimeters wide by 200 millimeters tall. Let's go back to Fusion. I'm going to create that rectangle in Fusion. So click 200 tall, 140 wide. The idea behind our case is we're going to have a ledge for this panel to sit on, and we're going to have a ledge inside of it for our bottom panel to sit on. And I'm also going to include in this design a little bit of a removable bottom panel, but we'll get there in a bit. So let's start by a ledge for this. So we're going to use our offset tool. We're going to select our initial ledge, and I'm going to start with the outside wall here. I'm going to do a 3 millimeter offset and hit enter. We're then going to go back to offset and do a 3 millimeter offset inside, and then once again do another interior 3 millimeter offset. Now you notice if I need to reverse the direction that it's offsetting, I just put that little negative in the front and hit enter. In terms of creating the ledges for our design, this is pretty much the entire sketch we need to use. We're just going to start turning things solid now. So let's start with our exterior wall. So I select that space in between our first rectangle, which is this one, and our outside. Select that space, hit E, and I want my overall height to be 20. So I'm going to be 20 millimeters and hit enter. And there is my outside wall. Now you notice all my sketches disappeared. To get those back, all we have to do is open up our sketch folder here and turn this on. Now we get our sketches back, we can actually just extrude these to the different heights that we want. So I'm going to extrude this one. Because I'm using 1/8 inch material, I want there to be a 3 millimeter gap here. So I'm going to put 17. We get that there. And then I just want a little surface for my bottom panel to sit on. So I will hit extrude 3 millimeters. And there is my bottom surface, and we can turn that sketch off. There is my basic panel, or case, sorry. Alright, a few more details I want to throw in here. Let's go to my Illustrator for a second. A few changes I made from the original one is I've added this little extra panel, which is going to go underneath all my components. I've also moved my components around a bit from the first video, just so that I don't get in the way of this one, which is going to be a wall to separate all my letters and my components. So let's start integrating some of these panels into my design. So these two panels will be sitting on this bottom ledge. This big panel will be sitting on the top, this top ledge here. We need to make room for this dividing wall. So what I'm going to do is click this panel here, take this height, so 147, And you notice that this dimension is just this dimension minus 3, roughly, for either one, or minus 6 if it's from both sides. Okay, so what I'm going to do is grab this one, which is going to be my inside panel, and I want to grab this height. Copy that. We're going to create a sketch on this ledge because we're going to cut a slot out of this ledge for that dividing wall. I'm going to get my 2-point rectangle. I'm actually going to click on the inside corner. I'm going to paste that dimension that we grabbed from Illustrator, and I'm going to click. That gives us how far down this panel is going to go, because right on the edge of that is where I want to make my slot for this panel, this dividing wall. Alright, so that's our reference. We're going to grab our rectangle again, and instead of going here, we're going to move over here, click, and I'm going to type 3 for my height, and just do the full width, which is 140. Click. And now all I have to do is select this little square, hold Shift, select that little square, and hit Extrude. We're going to drag this down so it cuts down just to that surface, which should be -14. There is my slot. Then all we have to do is use our measurement tool, measure this. We have 14. Let's just confirm that's right. If I grab this, our height is 14, and it lines up. Okay. So that is the bare minimum for this operation game. If you follow these steps, you'll get a working prototype or a working functioning operation game. I'm going to add in a little detail here at the end, which is how to make this removable panel for, let's say, changing your batteries and stuff. If you want to hang out and watch that, feel free. If you want to just get to work and come back later, you can also do that. So pause the video, catch up, and then come back for this extra little removable panel later. Alrighty. Welcome back to our video here. I hope you got caught up with the rest of these steps. Let me show you how to make this removable panel. So all we have to do is look at the inside of my case here and create a sketch on the surface. Now, when I hit sketch on a surface, it's going to take us to whatever view is in line with that, in this case the back view. All I have to do is rotate a little bit, and then you can see the inside there. What we have to do is essentially make a slot, or at least how I'm going to create this, is make a slot in the end of my panel here that my removable panel can slide in and out of. We're going to give this a try. We're going to do a 2-point rectangle, click right in that corner. Our width is, I'm just going to drag that corner. And our height is 3, that's good. I hit enter. I grab that rectangle and extrude it all the way through to cut a hole. So the idea is that our back plate gets glued in here, our dividing wall gets glued in here, and our top plate gets glued on top of all of it. And then the extra little panel is just going to slide in and out of this slot here, so that we can change out our batteries when we need to. Go back to Illustrator. If you want, what we should do is actually take this rectangle and make it 3 millimeters thicker, or taller, sorry. And that way, instead of just fitting between this corner and this corner, is gonna go from this corner all the way to the outside corner and fill up this gap. Okay, so I believe that is where I'm gonna leave this video. If you have any questions, let me know. I hope this is helpful. or at least a good starting point. If you feel like you can alter these dimensions, or you're gonna have to alter these dimensions based on the size of your operation panel. But if there's any other changes you want to make, feel free to do it. It's your project. Just keep in mind to read the rubric before designing so that you hit all of your, get all your marks for the project. All right, have fun designing, and let's get to work.